I, for one, hope so. I am Mark Stewart, responding to this current headline. Did Biden's speech on guns change minds? Well, I do hope it did, but change them for not Joe Biden's preferred reasons. He, in a speech following the Uvalde shootings, wanted to, number one, repeal the immunity that protects gun manufacturers from liability. Now, this is a falsity. There is no such gun manufacturer immunity in the first place. There is a widespread protection. It's called rights of people to not be frivolously suing for damages that others didn't cause. That's inherent for any product unless it has an inherent danger. It needs to be classified that way. Guns don't have an inherent danger. There is not a single armament that has ever in itself harmed another human. Guns don't just go off. They get fired because of brains handling them for good or for bad. 99.999% of the time for good. But when it is for bad, you can't be blaming the manufacturer. Stop it. Because there are so many other manufacturers of products that we like to use every day that if you blame because of their creation being used badly, nobody could be in business, okay? Somebody with a glass could hit me over the head, knock me unconscious, and rob me, maybe even kill me. Can't blame the glass manufacturer for a product that is used normally as it's supposed to. I will have my shake. And you can't go blaming manufacturers of firearms, which are supposed to be used to deter crime or maybe end crime. Those are good reasons. It shows a little bit of, I'm not even going to say the president's understanding because he's being controlled by other people. It's the crazed leftists who will use any opportunity to expand government's control and reduce your individual rights. The right to protect yourself and your family is colossal. Can't restrict that. Now, Biden also has legislation, thanks to his allies in Congress, that would reduce the number of guns that could be owned, except if in the hands of professional bodyguards. Now, that basically disarms 90%, maybe more, of people who can't afford 24/7 security. Congress can. They have a pretty big salary, and they would almost certainly put that into the expense column of protecting Nancy Pelosi. You're paying for it. People who can't pay for that are on the outs. Their safety is jeopardized. Once again, Congress deliberately acting on its own personal behalf and selling out, potentially with life-threatening consequences, selling out everybody else. Biden had one phrase that might resonate in a good way, but it'll get cut off pretty fast. He said he would like to address the mental health crisis. Now, here's the problem. Biden and his people would address it using government. They would use government agencies, their own people. They would expand them. They would be tied in even more with private contractors who might not be doing a very good job in the first place. And at all times, expanding the power of government officials and bureaucrats over even more of our budget, even more of our lives. He might have asked why mental health crises are so acute of late. And I will answer that greatly because of government policies, okay? It is in the last decade schools that have been teaching kids very depressing things. They're going to cook or be asphyxiated by global warming. Oh, or if not, they'd be drowned if they're near the coast and the seas rise in the next 40 years. They have been allowing prescription prescribers to give drugs almost unimpeded by common sense to kids who show a slight bit of deviation. Putting them on meds for long periods of time without cures, sure, it helps the pharmaceutical industries. It helps insurance companies. Doesn't necessarily help the kids, and it does lead to crises. And yes, it is Democrat mayors and a good number of Democrat governors that caused the shutdowns during COVID that have caused immense depressions because of all the dislocations that government caused. Not COVID itself, government reactions to COVID. At all turns, those in power would like to expand it. We should resist. I'm Mark Stewart.